Alright, so I've been playing Once Human for a while now, and as a dedicated mobile gamer, I've gotta say this is one of the most promising and uniquely themed AAA quality open world mobile games I've ever seen so far. I've actually spent a lot of time playing it on PC, but since my last Once Human video, I've also been diving into the mobile version too quite a lot, especially that the game is very optimized on it. In this video, I'll be sharing my first impressions, experiences, and a few things I hope the developers can improve on. By the way, this video is sponsored by Once Human, but they made it clear that I'm free to share my honest thoughts and personal experience with the game. Also, the mobile version just launched recently, and if you download the game today, you'll get over 1,000 premium rewards to help fast-track your progress by about 2 months, skipping most of those, early game struggles. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get started. So what exactly is Once Human all about? Once Human is a high graphics, open-world post-apocalyptic looter-shooter survival game with a supernatural twist. It's a fusion of many different game elements: survival, shooting, crafting, and exploration. In addition, there are also interdimensional beings, zombies, monsters, and hostile humans. And this mashup is actually what got me hooked. It's not for faint-hearted people though, as things can get pretty scary. The vibes are very similar to The Last of Us, especially with how the zombies look and behave. Now, the mobile version of the game is a full replica of the PC version, offering the same gameplay experience with seamless cross-platform support. The game is actually very optimized for mobile as far as my experience. I mean, it literally looks like a PC game if not for the, mobile UI. Alright, so let's start with its massive world. It is pretty huge. You wouldn't even believe it's a free-to-play game. It's basically a seamless, space that you can freely explore and interact with. So after the initial tutorial, the main quest not only drives the story but also teaches you the basic system, like gathering materials, crafting weapons and consumables, building your camp, and surviving. From there, you're mostly gonna be on your own, completing quests, leveling up, gathering resources, building your dream home, exploring the huge open world in dungeons, and so on. Oh, and the game also has a built-in AI assistant that you can ask about things you don't understand in the game, by the way. Although I rarely use it, as asking Reddit in the community for information about the game is far more effective anyway. Speaking about the community, it's got a solid player base all over the internet, especially on Discord. So asking about things you don't understand is as easy as just, Googling it. And talking about the game's monetization, you might think, well, it's free to play, so probably loaded with predatory in-app monetization, right? Nope, it's not. One of the biggest and most refreshing things about Once Human is that it launched without any pay-to-win elements. I mean, seriously, bro, there's actually no pay-to-win elements in the game. It is completely free to play. The only things you can spend money on are pure cosmetics, like character skins, weapon skins, decorations, you know what I'm talking about. So to sum it up, no pay-to-win, no shortcuts, no buying your way to power. So Once Human is pretty straightforward for a looter-shooter survival game. As you play, you will explore the game's massive world, complete quests, enter scattered houses and towns to take on area-specific challenges and missions. You fight monsters and, farm materials. Oh, and there are actually teleporters that you can activate to instantly travel to designated locations that you're gonna have to manually activate. And the journey, especially while doing the main quest, will always remind you just how massive the game world is. While doing all these things, there are 3 gauges that you need to monitor: your sanity, hydration, and energy. The lower your sanity, the lower your max HP becomes. To recover your sanity, you have to let your character sleep. The huge challenge is in world bosses, silos, or dungeons where you face tough bosses with unique mechanics. There are also multiplayer world events like Primal Wars, where players help each other defend a tower against a huge boss. But basically, combat is pretty simple. You aim, shoot, reload, dodge, and loot. You're not really gonna face any difficulty in combat in the open world until Lunar Oracle activates. Now, you might be wondering what Lunar Oracle is. It's basically a worldwide debuff that activates from time to time where your character's sanity gets reduced by 80% when you're outside your territory, and strong elite mobs spawn inside towns. These strong elite mobs usually spawn near crates and contain rare loot, but basically farming in the open world becomes a challenge during this time, especially with your reduced sanity. There There are also elite mobs that look like players, called lunar spawns. Actually, when I first encountered them, I really thought I was being targeted by other players. I mean, they're very tanky and deal a ton of damage. They even move like players too, and they also have healing abilities. Pretty crazy. But beating them drops really good loot though. As for the PvP, from what I've known, there are only very few players who seem to be interested in it. I mean, it's completely optional anyway. You can toggle it on or off, and honestly, it mostly just leads to unnecessary chaos and self-destruction. But that is if you're not into PKing. But if you're into PvP, I'm very confident you're gonna love the PvP in Once Human. I mean, they've got lots of modes. They have this event that you would follow a bus and then you all fight for the loot. And there's also Battle Royale and so on. And these are just small events in the PvE server. The PvP server is on a different level when it comes to PvP, as they have base raids and a lot more PvP activities. PvP in this game is really fun in my opinion. Alright, so base building and world interaction. One of my favorite aspects of Once Human is the base building. You know, the one common feature among all survival games. So the amount of freedom provided to you while building in this game is huge in my opinion. And it's very entertaining too. So when a new server opens, the starting zone tends to be filled up with new player bases quickly. And when you build your own, you might think you wish you could have found a better location. But you don't have to worry about that because that's actually okay. I mean, you can actually just relocate your base whenever you want and wherever you want without rebuilding everything. I even placed mine on the highest cliff in the game just so I could see this beautiful landscape. Though I wouldn't recommend you to place yours on such locations. I mean, it's nice but not actually practical. That's because your base location actually matters. You see, you're gonna need to choose your area wisely because some areas provide advantages like, you know, hydropower and water if you're near a water source, and easy access to mining or wood cutting if you're near resource nodes, as you can install machines to automatically farm these materials in your territory or assign deviations to help out. Speaking of deviations, deviations are basically pets that can assist you in a lot of things. They're basically like Pokemons. These companions come with unique perks. Some help in combat by, you know, either healing you, giving you buffs, unleashing special attacks, or attract enemies' attention away from you. Some of them only stay at your base to assist you with things like defense or resource gathering. I'm actually quite glad that they added it into the game because, you know, it gives you like a Pal World kind of vibe. And they're actually kind of cute. I don't know what this rabbit does, but off you go. So one of the biggest challenges I face in the game is the main quest difficulty balancing. You see, as you progress through the story, you will encounter a total of 6 bosses, each tied to specific level milestones: 10, 20, 30, 40, 40 again, and finally 60. The early bosses are pretty manageable. You know, like getting the gears to face them are pretty easy, and you can just breeze through most of the quest line without too much trouble. But once you hit that final boss, the difficulty spike is massive. I mean, it's such a huge leap that if you're playing solo, you'll need to seriously level up your character and upgrade your gears to, you know, just to stand a chance. Thankfully, there's always an option to tackle it with a team, which makes things significantly easier and enjoyable. That said, I actually see it as a good thing. I mean, it reflects just how much content the game has to offer, and once you get the hang of it, you'll start to realize that all those complexities actually added depth and kept you engaged. And honestly, that's part of what makes a game enjoyable. You know, lots of things to do, a bit of a challenge, and enough variety to keep you coming back for more. So here's my final thoughts. Bro, Once Human is a blast. The survival crafting is really easy to pick up, but satisfying to master. Building a house is really fun, even if the pieces don't always snap together the way you want. And while the combat is pretty straightforward, the monsters are so delightfully creepy that it doesn't matter, especially once you got your own squad of weird little critters or deviations fighting alongside you. Though I really hope they could include controller support so that mobile players like me could enjoy the game without, you know, relying on the screen controls for much more immersive experience. But I'm pretty sure they're eventually gonna add it. Overall, I really love the game. I can definitely see myself still playing it in the future. And again, the mobile version just recently launched, and if you download the game today, you'll get over 1,000 free premium rewards to fast-track your progress by 2 months, avoiding unnecessary newbie struggles. Go ahead and click the link in the description, scan the QR code on screen, and I'll see you there. That's pretty much it for today's video. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. This has been Gaming at Max, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.